an understanding of what you can get when you work with me. So hi Hannah, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you? Sorry about the technical glitch. I don't know what was going on. I couldn't hear anything.
Don't worry about it. It's not a problem. So we will get started because you are off out for breakfast very, very shortly. So welcome to this first client interview of 2023. So we will just get started straight away. So me and you met 2 years ago. Like, can you believe it was 2 years ago?
I feel like it's been longer because I know we came across each other through Annie Crew, and I'm sure it was like December time. I felt like we were talking, and then we properly like connected in, like you say, like in the January, and started to get to know each other like more. So it's been such a nice little journey to flourish and whatnot.
Definitely.
And I feel like we've both been cheerleaders for one another. Like if we've had down days, we've sort of picked each other back up, given ourselves a gentle kick, and then sort of gone on our way, sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. So you have like been one of those people who has had everything with me. You've had one-to-one, you've had the group coaches, you've done limited to limitless, and you've also part of the membership, and you were a founding member, so you joined back in June 2021 before you even launched it. So when we sort of met, you were doing Body Shop. You were full on with that. You've had a lot of ups and downs. You've had a load of challenges, you know, and you have just, from what I've seen, you've just come back stronger and stronger every single time. So how has your journey sort of changed since you know, and this isn't, when you come to me for coaching, whoever you are, I don't do the work for you. I help you to look at things a little bit differently, to empower you, to give you tools that you can then go away and use. So Hannah, you're actually the one that's gone away and done all the work. So
for me, like a lot of it was like self, you know, like the way I spoke to myself. So I got to the point where 2020 was probably like my breaking points. That's why I started Body Shop, because I wanted something to pick myself back up again, because we'd gone into lockdown. Evan were only 7 months old. I were on my own. The girls were here, there and everywhere, because we were at school, we weren't at school, and it were just, I didn't have that consistency, and I just wanted something for me, because very similar to your story, I felt like I lost myself. Because as a mum, you've got that hat on constantly. No matter what you're doing, you're always a mum.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, oh, I'm not a mum today, unless you've got a weekend to wait.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I struggled with as well. Because with all my children, I always had postnatal depression. So for me, like, I needed something in place where I was going to actually be held accountable, be able to take them steps forward, where I've still got like that gentle nudge if I need it as well. And that's the one thing I loved about it as well. And the encouragement for everybody else, you know, like all the other women there, like if you're having a down day, you can always guarantee someone's going to put a smile on your face. And the one thing why I related to you so much is the fact that you didn't sugarcoat anything. It was like, this is how I'm feeling today. And I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so glad someone said this, because I'll speak to my friends and they're like, oh, it's just a phase you're going through. Like, it's not just a fucking phase. It's literally like every day, this is not normal.
Yeah.
But I just needed something where I got some focus, I got some clarity. And the thing for me as well, like when we did the limited to limitless, it were just the steps that you put in there as well, like the little tasks that we did, because we're being on like a where you can sort of play back as well. It's being able to go back to them as well, because sometimes, like you say, you miss the things that you might not have listened to the first time. And for me, it was just the encouragement you always gave everyone as well, the energy you delivered. Like, I'm just attracted to your Facebook because you're just always full of that energy. And if I'm having one of them days where I'm feeling a bit crap, I look for like motivation from you, you know, in terms of like a bit of a like quote or whatever, because I think like the last few days, I think it's like hormones and everything else, I've just felt up and down and up and down. Then I thought, no, I don't want to feel like this anymore. So I've journaled about it, and I've tried to come to a conclusion why I'm feeling like I am. And a lot of it was to do with like my routine and things like that. So I've done a little bit of twigging on that. We're still not quite there yet, but I've made that first step where it's going to make things easier as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's a lot of the a lot of the thing that you've got to do is taking that first step. It's only scary once. And then once you've got over that barrier, you're over another one and then another one. And it's just that momentum of keeping going.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
that was the reason why I loved Limited to Limitless, because it just gave you that momentum as well. And you had the support from everybody else as well. So if you were having a bit of a down day or you needed a bit of help, everyone sort of collabed together, which is what I loved.
Yeah. And that was and it still is so important for me to let people know that they're not alone, because I still have wobbles. Like, I've been the crappiest mum this week. I've shouted, been moody, I've been mardy, like, and I've been horrendous this week, and I know it, but I'm like, oh, the kids are just driving me fucking insane. Like, it's the first week back at school. I'm like, I should be really, really enjoying this time in the morning, because then they're going to be away for 6.5 hours. If I pick them up, literally drop them off like the first thing and then pick them up last thing. Because so much of the time, as a business, don't matter how successful you are, doesn't matter whether you've not even got a business, feeling alone is one of the worst things, because you're just like, well, everyone else is, cracking on and getting on with it.
Flying, everyone else is doing it. And that was one of my things as well. I still got a little bit in me, the comparinitis, but I'm able to look at it from a different perspective, where I'm like, yeah, but their journey is different to mine, because I'm doing this. And every journey is a journey. You're going to have bumps in the road, but it's how you overcome them to get to the next thing. Whereas I weren't seeing that side before, because you just see one side on Facebook. You're like, oh yeah, but look, they're doing this and they're doing that. Yeah. But actually, there's no behind the scenes of the meltdowns, the lows and stuff. Yeah. Whereas you do that, and that's what I love about you, the fact that you actually do that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh yeah, I'm earning this amount of money, and it's been such an easy journey, you think, but behind the scenes, you've not seen that mountain. You've not seen what they've had to go over to get there. And I have to remind myself that every day, because I do have moments still where I'm a bit like, yeah, but I'm not where I want to be. But now I've sort of said, for this year, I've been a bit more like, well, actually, I'm going to take that action. I'm going to write down the things that I actually want to do. And I'm going to just do one step each day.
Yeah.
Don't have to be massive, just a little step each day to move me forward. And then I'm not going to get that self-doubt of, oh, yeah, but you're not good enough. You can't do this. You can't have that. Yeah. Because a lot of it is, the things that we're thinking, a lot of it, we think we can't change, when in actual fact we can choose something different. Yeah. Choose to feel something different. And that's one of the things that's helped me as well. Yeah. Looking at it from that clarity side.
Yeah. And that's the empowerment. That's the bit where, like I spoke to one of my other one-to-one clients who I worked with for 8 weeks 2 years ago. And she said she's going to come on and do a live at some point. But she said to me, she got back to me the other day, she said, yeah, I'm in London. London, that's the impact you've had on me. And I just sobbed, because, like, we started working together, me and you, like, nearly 2 years ago. And you will still have some days, a little Heather on your shoulder going, is that the right choice? Could you make it? If you are watching live, please do say hello, by the way, and leave us some hearts and some thumbs up so more people can see. Because Hannah's journey is just phenomenal, and you're going to get a chance in a minute to just explain what you're doing now. But it's just about looking at things from a different perspective and being surrounded by people that get it, that understand that we are going to have bad days. That I always joke, successful people still poo. Successful people, like I spent all of last year pretty much comparing myself to other people, and it did me no good at all. And I'm going to share in February, I'm going to do a masterclass where I'm going to share in a lot more detail what actually happened last year, and how I got out of the mess that I'd got into. But again, like, mindset is a lifelong journey. We like you said, we get to one level and then we have to unblock the next, and we uncover the next, and then we've got another challenge and another challenge, and it just continues and continues. So Limited to Limitless, that program is open at the moment. I think, well, when I launched it in Or so you were one of the first ones to do that in August 2021.
I was so determined. I got to the point where I kept making excuses, and I thought, no, I'm worth that amount of money. Because I think that was a lot of it when I picked and picked. It was all to do with my worthiness around money. Mm-hmm. Whereas now I feel like I'm a lot better because I can flip it and be like, yeah, but by me doing this, I'm going to get this. Yeah. I get to have this because I've done this, you know, and being able to flip it. So a lot of it was like my worthiness around money and around my self-worth as well.
And I bet self-talk came into that a lot. Like a lot of the stuff that you were telling yourself, like, oh, well, you know, this 30 quid a month for the membership or whatever it is that you put, I don't know, anyway, like this 30 quid, well, actually that could be some clothes for the kids. Yeah. Or actually I could work on me and become a happier version of me, ensure that I'm happy as well, because I'm not put on this planet to live a miserable, shitty life.
Exactly.
You know? And I'm not just put on this planet just to be a mum. I want to be more than just mum. Like, whether that's in a business, whether that's going and doing a hobby, like this client I spoke about that's in London, she's taken up pole dancing again. She's got an aerial hoop for a garden, like within 3 weeks of working together. She's gone back and done stuff like that because we forget who we are, whether we're a mum or not.
Yeah, we do.
Becoming a mum helped me to realise that I'd forgotten who Heather was, because before I was a mum, I was working 3 jobs 7 days a week, and I had my UW business, so I barely saw my husband, and everything that I was doing, I was putting into work to make money, and I didn't do anything for me.
And so that's what I feel like I got into a bit in December. Because I think the thing for me is because I love pole dancing, because of being pregnant at the minute, I've been a bit like, yeah, but I did it with all the other 3. So I feel like I'm going to try and do a little bit. And if it feels wrong, I just won't do it. But at least I won't know either way unless I actually do it as well. Because a lot of it, when I've spoken to a few plus, yeah, but I feel lazy because I'm just sat eating for the sake of eating. And I just...
But that's another, like, isn't that another mindset thing? Because literally over Christmas I did absolutely nothing. I spent most of the 3 weeks in my pajamas, well, apart from went to Centre Parks, like in my pajamas. And I was like, oh, just, you know what, I just can't be bothered.
Yeah.
I'm lazy. No, I'm not lazy. I just need to rest. Like,
yeah, and I think that's what it is. It's flipping it, being able to say, no, it's okay to have a day where I need a rest.
Yeah.
Because then it stops me from getting burnout, because that was the other thing. I was constantly burnt out in 2020. I didn't have any time for me. And I was just a mum constantly. I was running around juggling all the plates. And then I got to the point where I'm like, no, enough is enough. You hit rock bottom and then you pick yourself back up again.
Yeah. Amazing. So I'm conscious of time, and I know you're going for breakfast. So just tell everyone then, I should have done this at the beginning, but tell everybody like who you are, what you do, and where they can find you. Sorry, I should have done this.
It's all right. Right, so I'm Hannah. I'm a busy mum of 3, soon to be 4, which I'm a bit scared of.
You'll be right.
Obsessed with like spirituality at the minute, so a lot of my journey at the moment is all around like crystals. I am with Spellbound and Oriflame. Oriflame is similar to Body Shop, where it's like skincare. So I've sort of collabed both of them together so that they're quite a good match, just to put in that self-care again. But spirituality has been the big thing that's sort of changed things for me as well. So it's being able to have little action steps and seeing things from a different side, the woo-woo side, because I've always had it in me, but I've not fully embraced it. Whereas now I'm a bit more like, I'm just stepping into it and learning to discover myself more.
Is that because you were worried about what the people think?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is definitely like that. So like obviously I've always been worried about what people think. I've never really fitted in at school, but then I've got to the point now where I'm like, I sort of embrace my weird things.
Yeah.
So like the weird things that I like, so I'm like, do you know what? That makes me though. Do you know, like there's no other me out there.
Exactly.
These weird tweaks just make you who you are, and it's like embracing them. So that's one of the things, like that one of my goals, like for this year I've created 2 words of the year. I think one of them is confidence and the other one is calm, because I want to make more calm into my life. So I just feel at the minute everything's a bit crazy, so it's like having that belief that I can have that as well, and allowing myself them 28 days to sink it in. Because like I said, with my new routine, I think I've only been doing it about a weekish, sort of broken up through Christmas, because I got to the point where you're like, oh, but you can be a bit more flexible with bedtime, and it sort of bit me in the ass. So whereas now I know for next time what I will and won't be doing. But it's having those things where you can be like, yeah, but now I know for next time what I can do differently. And that was the other thing that I love about you, the fact that you'll trial something and you'll actually share it with with others, and be like, this is what I did. It didn't quite work, but I know for next time. And that's what I'm trying to do now, be a bit more like, well, if I don't try, how do I know which way it's going to go?
Exactly. And like, that's something else we talk about, failure. Like, I never fail. I either learn from it or I succeed and achieve the things that I want to do. And we're all different. We've all got different human designs. I don't know a lot about human designs, but I'm a splenic projector.
That's the same as me.
Like
that's what helps me as well. Learning more about how I am as a person, because I've had it broken down where I know what my personality is now. I know when I'm getting to burnout, you know, when to slow down. Because ideally, as a projector, you're only meant to work 3 hours to 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
Any more than that, and it makes a lot of sense to me, because when I've been in jobs that are like, because I've always worked in nurseries, it's been 8 hours plus. I have literally been on my knees, and then my partner's been like, well, I don't get it. I don't get why you're so tired. Like, because I'm just tired. And it's because he's a different human design to me. He's a manifester.
Yeah.
So Rob and Peyton are both manifestors, so they can just manifest like that. So literally he can say, oh, I'm having this, and literally it'll be there. I'm like, how the fuck have you done that? But it's a good thing, because you can tap into that energy as well. Just being able to tap in when you need that energy boost, because the problem with projectors as well, we've got a lot of energy leaks. So we don't actually keep our energy. Like generators, they can just go and go and go. So if you do know a generator, you can actually seep energy from them if you're needing that bit of motivation.
My 3 are, I'm sure my 3 are manifesting generators, my 2 boys and my husband, and I'm like constantly like, oh,
so they're literally on the go. But then it's a good thing in your case, because if you need that motivation and you need that energy, you've got that to tap into as well. Tap into that space.
Yeah.
And then tap out when you need to. Because that's the one thing I
definitely
need to
tap
master.
out when I need to.
And take yourself off, because a lot of the time as well, as a projector, sometimes just being, you know, just having a day for you where you're not on social media and you're just listening to your inner guide, listening to your intuition. Because that's like, a lot of that is one of the things that I've worked towards, and now I can ask myself for guidance and it'll come up. And I'll always go with the first answer, because the second answer is the self-doubt talking. The first answer is the empowerment, where I'm like, yes, I feel fired up and I've had ideas. I'm a bit like, I'm probably quite similar to you, where you have idea after idea. I always call myself scatterbrain, because I'll never know which one to focus on first, so I just write them all down. And then I'll look at them, I'll be like, right, I'll do this one, then I'll do this one, and then more comes. So it's like tapping into that inspiration as well. And meditation's been one of the things that has absolutely blown my mind, because I've been able to manifest things. So obviously I manifest this pregnancy as well. So I actually said to the universe, I was like, you know, I'm ready to receive in November. I'm ready to be pregnant. And then literally November came, and I was 2 days late on my period. And then literally I was like, oh, I don't want to take a test. I don't want that disappointment. And it came up straight. I was like, the universe does deliver when you ask. But at the time, because I was in a toxic workplace, it weren't going to happen because the stress I was under. And then literally I started a new job with fresh energy, and then literally within the week found out I was pregnant. So it just goes to show that it's the universe is always listening.
Absolutely.
And using it to your advantage.
100%. 100%, 100%. Right, I am aware of the time. It's like 9:58, so you need to go. If you want to pop a post in later on with all of your links and stuff, then you're more than welcome to do that. Go and enjoy your breakfast. Have a lovely day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
And I will
I'll
speak to
you
you soon.
soon. Bye.
All right, take care. Bye.